Hello, my name is Chien Wai, a retired chemistry professor at the University of Idaho and brother of Julia Wei. I was born in August 1937 in Shanghai, China, about 1 month after the Sino-Japanese War broke out in the outskirts of Beijing that year. After I was born, my father, Julia Wei, a microbiology professor of the National Central University in Nanjing, followed the Chinese nationalist government retreating to Chongqing, about 1,000 miles west of Shanghai, to fight the Japanese invasion. My father left his wife and 7 children with our grandfather, who was a well-to-do lawyer in Shanghai. The war lasted for 8 years, and I remember meeting my father when I was 8 years old at my grandma's funeral. He was like a stranger to me. My childhood memories were mainly associated with my mother and 2 sisters, Nanyu, that's Julia, and another sister, Lingyu. Julia was always helping our mother doing housework, including babysitting Lingyu and me. I still remember watching her small figure moving in the kitchen, helping my mother and bringing food to dinner table. Near the end of the war, life was too difficult for my mother to live in Shanghai with so many young children. So she decided to take the 4 young ones to Ningbo, 140 miles south of Shanghai, living in our grandfather's old house with my aunt and uncle's families. My mother's family, including her sister, brother, and cousins, live in a small town near Ningbo. They occasionally brought much-needed food and other supplies to us. During this difficult time, Julia, again, was a strong supporter of our mother. The old house did not have running water at that time. Our water supply came from a well located in the front yard of the house. Doing laundry and washing dishes using the well water during winter time was a very difficult job. Julia was the one willingly doing this and other housework to give my mother some relief. Julia's personality was much like my mother's. She was responsible, independent, strong-willed, hardworking, and frugal. They developed this kind of personality, I think, mainly because of the war. We moved back to Shanghai when I was 10 and lived in a small house bought by my father. After the war, my father was offered a job as the Dean of College of Engineering at the National Taiwan University. My mother moved to Taiwan in 1947 to join him, leaving Julia, Lingyu, and me living in Shanghai. Julia was like our little mother, taking care of Lingyu and me for over 1 year. We did not have much during this period of time, but Julia made our life as pleasant as possible. Soon, the communists were winning the Civil War and advanced rapidly towards Shanghai. With the assistance of a relative, my 2 sisters and I went to Taiwan to join our parents. The trip was chaotic and the ship was overloaded with refugees. Lingyu and I got seasick lying on the deck for 2 days. Julia was the one comforted us for the whole trip. Our life in Taiwan was exciting and confusing in the beginning. This was the first time my parents lived with all their 7 children under the same roof. We lived in a big Japanese house provided by National Taiwan University for its faculty. But with so many people in our family, it was very crowded. Julia, Lingyu, and I shared one room, sleeping on Japanese tatami floor with a room-sized mosquito net. Julia often entertained us by singing some popular Chinese songs, which I still can sing today. Soon, Julia and I started high school in Taipei. The school was located about 1 mile from our house. I was in the first year of the junior high, and Julia was in the senior high. We walked to school together every day. Julia was always neatly dressed in the school uniform and well behaved. She was often frustrated with my naughty behavior on our way to school. Our life for the first time was peaceful and stable in Taiwan. Julia was a serious student and happy teenager during her high school years, according to my memory. She liked to go to movies with her friends in weekends. She sometimes played mahjong with her sisters-in-law at home. When they needed a 4th player, I was the one they would call. Julia and I often helped each other to win the game, which upset our older sisters-in-law frequently. These are some of my happy memories as a teenager in Taiwan. In the 1950s, many young people in Taiwan dreamed to go abroad for graduate education. Robert, my second brother, was the first one in our family to leave Taiwan for a job in Australia. His wife and his son David soon moved to Australia to join him. Julia entered Suzhou University in Taipei, majoring in accounting. I was busy with my own study and preparation of university entrance examination. I graduated from National Taiwan University and came to the USA for graduate education in chemistry in 1962. Julia went to Melbourne, Australia, to work for BBC. Over the past 6 decades, we occasionally contact each other by phone or by mail, but I never got to meet Julia face to face. I consider this to be a major regret of my life. I will remember Julia for the rest of my life and the fond memories of our childhood and young lives together. Thank you, Julia. May you rest in peace. Your brother, Chien Wai.